Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to the Art of Warfare in-house tournament. The last official game we will be casting is Bracket A, Week 7, end of the tournament. I say the last official game because I'm going to be casting some games from previous weeks, just to catch up on people that haven't had a game cast so far. There are 3 people, I think, who have not yet had a game cast in this entire tournament, and we do not want to miss out. So we're going to be checking back some previous weeks, pulling out a couple of replays, and getting them a game cast. Now, there have been some people who have swapped mid-tournament. I haven't kept track of all that beautifully, so if you were in the tournament, like the first 2 weeks, and then you left, then you might miss out on the replay. But I know that everybody who's, I'm tracking the people who have been in the entire tournament and have not yet had a game cast. They'll definitely get a game cast. So anyway, moving on, let's introduce our players for week number 7, Bracket A. Is going to be 2 players we have seen a few times before. Down the bottom left side of the map, it is Bughy, otherwise known as Mr. B, because for some reason that even I can't explain fully, I do not like saying the word Bughy. It doesn't sound right rolling off my tongue. I used to call him Bughy, and apparently that's not the way to say it. So the proper way to say it is Bughy, but I don't want to be saying Bughy like 100 times this game. It's just a thing, alright? It's just a thing. It's not anything against Mr. B, as we'll be calling him. It's just me. It's not you. It's me. Alright, so anyway, moving on. And yeah, Mr. B is from Wingmen, the team who did take out the entire tournament. So you'll almost be expecting to Mr. B to just steamroll this, but then again, we have to look up the top right side of the map, and it is none other than Paddy from the Paddy's Heroes team. And we've cast him twice before. He's won both games. He is a sensational player in this tournament. In fact, I've said on a couple of occasions that, in my opinion, he is the best player in this entire tournament that we have cast. There's a couple of others which have really impressed me, like Majoris. We casted him against, who was he against last week? Actually, I can't remember because I got two games cast from last week and from Bracket A. Let me have a look. I think he was playing against Opain. Majoris versus Opain off the top of my head. And yeah, he did end up beating him. So Majoris, very, very awesome player. Unfortunately, the week that Majoris and Paddy went off against each other, no replays were submitted. So unfortunate, otherwise I would have loved to cast those games. But anyway, we do have Paddy and Mr. B, 2 of the titans of this tournament. And now they are going to be going at it in week number 7. And this particular game, I'm not really sure who won, but oh man, Paddy doing a great job. He's got the Zealot Stalker coming out. He's actually put a pylon up there, man. That's crazy. He can't be going for a cannon rush. Although there was a probe coming out, and there is still a probe coming out. Does he have? He does not have a forge up, so there's not going to be a cannon rush. This is just for warping in, guys. Oh, force field, not quite trapping the entire forces there, but the probe's going nuts. The sentry is doing alright. It did quite a lot of damage to the Stalker before the Stalker even started to hit it. Another pylon going down. And Paddy does have warp gate tech. That's like the fastest warp gate tech I've ever seen. So here we go. He's only got 1 Zealot though. Is he going to start warping in stuff here? I feel like no. It's just going to go down too fast. Mr. B putting too much pressure on the pylons. Paddy continuing to warp them in though. But I think this is all over, man. He's putting another pylon over there. 3 Stalkers coming out of it. So he's got 3 gateways coming out and quite a lot of pressure. But Mr. B, a fast immortal, and man, if that doesn't just top the cake right there, I do not know what does, because Paddy managing to get out the Mothership Core, but the immortal, I think it just killed all 3 of those Stalkers, just absolutely annihilated them. So very, very different playstyles. Mr. B going for the fast immortal, definitely saved his bacon. Paddy going for the fast 3-gate warp, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody get gate tech out faster, although looking at the time, I feel like I was just blathering on for the first part of the game when shit was actually happening. So yeah, but Paddy not letting up the advantage that he kind of had that early. He's going for an early Nexus. He is going for a starport. Or is that a Stargate? It's a Stargate. Starport is the Terran thing. So he's going for an early Stargate. He's got 3 gateways. He's getting in another one as well, so he should be able to defend quite easily. Mr. B got the mothership core. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's getting in 2 more gateways. Not getting an expansion, so if Paddy is allowed to sit back and just get his shit going, he is going to develop quite a lead in this game because Mr. B is not getting an expansion. He's thinking about getting one, but the probe getting chased away by this one zealot, and oh, there it goes, getting taken down. So Mr. B going for his expansion, 8.5 minute mark, but Paddy, his expansion is already up, and the worker lead is going to start growing and growing and growing. And yeah, Mr. B, I mean, he's got a decent army here. 2 zealots, an immortal, and 2 stalkers and 2 sentries versus 2 zealots. So Paddy does not have anywhere near the forces he needs to hold this army off. And if Mr. B goes in, starts doing some stuff, starts making some shit happen, then Paddy for the next couple of minutes is going to be quite vulnerable. But he's starting to move into getting some more units out. He's putting a couple more zealots out. The observer coming in, not going to see many forces, is going to see the void ray coming out. And Mr. B, this is a great opportunity for him. If he gets out a bunch of stalkers right now, he could potentially do a lot of damage to Paddy because, I mean, his immortals, not so useful anymore, but he does have an advantage in that he knows Paddy is going for void rays, and that's a huge thing to know because against void rays, all you need is a bunch of stalkers. We can see instantly going for a Twilight Council, and almost certainly going to be seeing Blink come out of that because, of course, Blink stalkers, fantastic versus void rays, and all he has to do is get those stalkers out. But he's not got that much income at the moment. He's got okay, but you can see the gap is really starting to blow out right there. And Paddy's not building workers though. Oh, he's pylon capped. Ouch! That is gonna hurt. That is gonna hurt him, man. He could potentially drop 3 or 4 workers. He's drop his lead by 3 or 4 workers. Gonna get pylon capped there, and you think pylon capped is not a big deal. If you lose your 3 or 4 worker advantage, that is a big deal. So Paddy, man, is going to be hitting himself right now. He's got to be so pissed off. There we go, 2 more pylons coming out. So he's not going to be pylon capped anytime soon. Mr. B staying on top of the pylons like a true champion. But there's only 2 more workers behind. He was 6, now he's only 2. And we do see a ton of stalkers coming out from Mr. B. And we do see Blink coming out. So yeah, he's just trying to get enough minerals to be able to produce the stalker numbers that he needs. And Paddy, meanwhile, he's got 2 void rays with a 3rd coming out. Yes, 2 void. I thought there was another void ray hiding there, but it turns out it was a stalker in the background. So 3 void rays and 2 more actually coming out. He's got a 2nd Stargate, so he's starting to flip-flop a bit. Flip-flop the advantage because the reason I say that is if you've got 2 or 3 void rays and your opponent has 6 or 7 stalkers, the stalkers will probably do alright. They've probably got the numbers. But once you start getting a critical number of void rays, the void rays overcharging will shred stalkers, man. They will just absolutely shred stalkers. So Paddy building 2 void rays at once, he's going to start to have the advantage. But I don't know, man. Mr. B, he's got 9 stalkers. I do not know. I don't think he's got the advantage. I think you need like 2 to 3 stalkers per void ray. I mean, once you take that overcharge into effect, you really got to have a ton of stuff to really make that work. Paddy, here we go, going for a 3rd base. He's lost the economic advantage that he had before, although he still needs to see his workers seem to be doing a better job of actually mining stuff than Mr. B's. So I don't know why that is. Maybe he's got some probes off in the middle of the base building stuff. But regardless, we do have a Templar Archives. We do have a couple of Templars coming in. No Storm as of yet. Looks like he's just going for Archons. And Paddy actually going for air weapons. Let's have a look at the upgrades so far. Nobody's got anything in terms of actual upgrades, but Bughy, Mr. B has got level 1 attack on the way. Paddy's got level 1 attack as well, but it is for his void rays, and he may be able to make this work. 6 void rays. They're going to shred the stalkers, but it's going to be a case of ground versus air, and with Archons, you got to remember Archons are not an armored unit, so void rays will not shred them the way they shred stalkers. So this could be what Mr. B needs to counter the void rays, and we'll see if it's going to work. Paddy somehow managing to get a pylon up there. I don't know if that's the same pylon that's been there for years, or if it's one that he's built in the last few minutes, but we will just have to see. And Paddy deciding to go for it, deciding to see what sort of chaos he can sort of put out there, and I wish him all the best of luck, but I don't know, man. There's Archons worrying me a little bit, but Paddy with his third base up, he has got it up now, and Mr. B starting to get his third base up, and here we go. Moving in, the Void Rays, they haven't overcharged yet, but they will in a sec once they get into a decent range, but the Stalker's running for it, and Paddy actually, great decision not to overcharge, because the forces ended up getting out of range. Oh, one of the Void Rays goes down. The Archon's doing a great job at tanking the damage, and now Paddy is pushing in, but he does not want to move in without his ground forces. He's sort of moving in though. No, he's backing off. He's backing off. That's a good decision. He does not want to move in with his Void Rays if his ground forces are getting blocked by force fields, because of course then he'll have the undivided attention of all the Archons, all the Stalkers. But pushing back, he's going to get flanked here, but he does take out this base. We'll see if he can break out of the flank right here. He is pushing back, and Mr. B choosing to fall back here. Does not want to engage too much. The Void Rays really do have him scared. He really wants to pull the Void Rays out of position, which he's sort of doing here. He's got a crap load of Stalkers. They're doing a ton of damage, but the Void Rays doing a ton of damage. Here's the blink into the main army, and it's going to come down to what's going on. The Void Rays have got the overcharge. The Stalkers are falling like dominoes, but there's only 2 Void Rays left, and the ground forces somehow holding on for Paddy, but almost, maybe, kind of, not quite. They're actually, the Archon's soaking up so much damage there, and a bunch of Stalkers coming in is going to manage to finish that off. Very even fight. Both players losing a ton of forces there. I think Paddy has a bit more simply because he's got the reinforcements waiting here, so he's kind of won there. But look at this, man. A bunch of Zealots come in when nobody was looking, took out that third base. We have a look at the units lost. The workers are pretty much identical, so I was going to say Mr. B at a definite disadvantage from losing his third base, but somehow he managed to get the Zealots over to the third base and took it out while we were concentrating on that major battle. So congratulations to him. But Paddy continuing on with the Void Ray support and even getting an Immortal as well. So he's doing a fantastic job getting his third base really fast back up there, while Bughy is still dealing with trying to get his forces back up. Got 4 Void Rays, man. The reinforcing Void Rays doing a fantastic job. And if the overcharge gets up here, the Stalkers are all going to die. There we go. It's not overcharged yet, I do not think. I think they've overcharged. It's hard to tell if they've overcharged or not. It does not look like it. Prismatic alignment has not been knocked off. He should have really activated that, but he did not. And maybe he was on cooldown from a previous battle or something like that. But the Void Ray still, even without the overcharge, still doing an exceptionally good job. And here we go. The Immortal's got no defense. It's got one of those bulky arms that it cannot lift more than about 20 degrees. And there we go. Paddy winning that by a small amount. All his ground forces going down. All his air forces managing to survive. And Mr. B has got to start thinking about a core strategy to defeat the Void Rays, because it's becoming more and more apparent that Paddy is just going for pure Void Rays. He's not really building that many ground forces. A bunch of extra Zealots with the spare minerals that he has, but the most part is just Void Rays. And I mean, Stalkers are obviously not working anymore. Archons kind of working, but the gas that he needs to build those Archons is absolutely monumental, and we have seen Void Rays chew through the Archons. They don't completely shred them like they do Stalkers, but they do enough damage that the Archons do go down in a very sensible amount of time. So I just do not know what Mr. B can do at this moment. I mean, apart from just going Void Rays himself, I really don't, because Archons, eventually they do go down. And Tempest, I mean, I don't think the Void Ray counts as a massive unit, so really I'm not sure. These guys don't have any energy that can be feedbacked. So it's a case of what to do against Mass Void Ray. The only thing I can think of is Mass Void Ray itself. I mean, maybe he can make Mass Archons work. Maybe. But I just do not know. I mean, Paddy's got the income advantage. He's at 54 over 44, which is great for him. Getting that third base up a lot quicker than Mr. B got his own third base up is definitely helping him out. And now the Void Rays out on the field. He's got 8 of them, and 8 is a very large number. And Mr. B, even if he wanted to mass Archons, he does not have the gas income to do it. This base is going to go down, and this is going to be the beginning of the end for Mr. B. He manages to cancel it, but a cancel is just horrendous right now. He needed that gas income so badly, and he just doesn't have it. So Stalkers are not going to help him. He can produce 1,000,000 Stalkers, and they're not going to help him. And the only other option he has is Void Rays or Archons. He can't produce Archons because he hasn't got enough gas. And Void Rays, I feel like he's too far behind. He's just too far behind. He's trying to go in here with a bunch of Zealots. I feel like the probes actually took that out. Bunch more Zealots coming in here, going for the third base. Or going for the natural expansion, actually. But Paddy, man, he's got an insane army right here. 80 over 53. The main part of Mr. B's army, Stalkers, Archons, and Zealots, I feel like is just not going to be enough. I feel like Paddy can move in, and with this massive Void Ray amount that he's got, he could just wipe out everything. There we go, the Observer just completely getting demolished. 3 Zealots coming in, and a couple of Zealots being warped in from Paddy. Warping in his entire force, actually, to defend against this. Obviously not worried with maintaining map control or any sort of forward staging point. I suppose he doesn't really have to worry because Mr. B's not really in any sort of position to take him out. We do have Storms coming down, and Storm is a potential. So I missed that before, but Storm definitely is a potential when the group gets large enough. Against 2 or 3 Void Rays, Storms are useless. Against 8 or 9 Void Rays, all clumped up, Storms start to become a lot better. You stack them on, Storm after Storm after Storm after Storm, and just the fact that you're getting so much Storms on them, and the fact that Void Rays naturally clump up, I mean, it's just a ton of damage. It really is a ton of damage. You got to really hit them with a lot of Storms to take them out. 2 or 3 Storms, I think at the absolute minimum. Probably more like 4 or 5 to actually kill them. But you get those 5 Storms off and the Void Rays go down. And that's such an investment. It's not like storming Stalkers or Zealots where you can just rebuild an army. I mean, Void Rays are a massive investment. Once you lose them, and if Paddy somehow loses these 8 Void Rays to a beautiful set of Storms or something like that, it's going to take him an incredible amount of minerals and gas to rebuild those. Let's think about it. 8 Void Rays, that's 2,000 minerals and, 1,200 gas. That's going to, and just the time to take it. Void Rays take ages to build. So I mean, he cannot afford to lose those Void Rays. You might think, well, there's nothing on the field that can take him out, but Storms, I mean, if he gets lucky with Storms, he shreds them quite a bit. And then Stalkers sort of blink in and finish him off. That could be devastating. And Mr. B looking like he is definitely thinking about that option right now. He does have a ton of High Templars. And a few very decent Storms on this Void Ray pack could net him the advantage that he needs. But, man, if he was Terran, he would have Ghosts out. He'd have it all scouted, all counted. But his Protoss, he does not have it. Putting feedback on these Templars is going to be an exercise in futility. It's just not going to be enough. So he's a victim of his own success. His army has gotten so large that Storms are going to be that much more effective. And here we go, pushing in. Are we going to see the perfect Storms on this Void Ray pack? I do not know. Mr. B sort of backing off. There he goes. The Storms going down. You see the Void Ray shield starting to go down. Beautiful amount of Storms going down. Massive amount of Storms. And there we go. The Void Rays are completely shredded right there. Exactly what Mr. B needed to do with those Storms, and the Void Rays have all gone down. And you can see Paddy manly trying to get his Void Ray force back up, but 8 Void Rays, man, is going to be so hard to get it back up, and he's going to have to rely on other units. But I think in terms of other units, man, I think Mr. B has the advantage right here. The problem is Void Rays need a long time to actually take stuff out, and Storms don't take a long time to take stuff out, so he needed those Void Rays to be alive for the entire battle to really shred those Stalkers, and they died so quickly. So now he's got all these Stalkers left over. He's got no way to deal with them. 2 Void Rays coming out, and that's going to give him up to a total of 4. But 4 Void Rays, I don't think is going to be enough to take out all these Stalkers. But maybe if he attacks with his workers at the same time, workers and Void Rays, could potentially do something. He's got a lot of ground forces here. He's got an Immortal, he's got a bunch of Zealots. I'm feeling like maybe he's got enough. Remember, the Stalkers, when they're getting hit by Void Ray fire, they do go down quite a bit. So I feel like Paddy could make a crack of this with the forces he has. I feel like he could make a go of it. And it looks like he is going to make a go of it. He's got to make sure that his Void Rays do not get out of position, that they do not get too far away from the ground forces, because you got to remember, Mr. B has Blink, and taking out that Nexus, it looks like he's just going to make a run for it here. He's not going to engage the main force. He's just going to make a run for it. He's taken down the economy. He's now 3 bases versus Paddy's 2. Paddy has the worker advantage, but his mineral income, his gas income has gone down the toilet due to the fact that he does not have any Nexi anymore. And Paddy has got to be furious right now. He's going to be chasing this force down. Maybe going to take his Void Rays in and try and shred this base, which he can do very fast. I mean, he's got 4 Void Rays, 5 Void Rays, something like that in this force. But no, Mr. B, it looks like he is going to be holding it here. Going to be defending that. And so far, I mean, that's pretty catastrophic for Paddy. It's going to be extremely hard for him to actually rebuild this. He's long distance mining. He has rebuilt this place though, and man, if if Mr. B has any sort of inkling this base is coming back up, is going to be extremely bad. But Paddy moving his forces back, he's going to try and hold off this Nexus going down. He cannot afford to lose this Nexus, although he's got enough to build another one over there, which is what he's doing. And there we go, Paddy seeing the forces coming. He's managed to get a Colossus, which is great because Mr. B has got a ton of Zealots, but those ton of Zealots, man, they're going to stream in and everything's going to go down, and this is bad right now. Storms coming in as well, just storms everywhere. And Paddy, man, he never got the beautiful counter for the Templars. I'm not sure if there really is a counter for the Templars, except with Templars of your own. It's just one of those things, and Paddy, man, is going to have to give the GG right there. I loved his Void Ray play. It was looking really, really nice, but I guess we've learned the optimum Protoss counter here for Void Rays. If you didn't know it already, it is Storm, and it's a little bit, you know, it doesn't really seem like it would be a counter because Void Rays are big, bulky units, and the Storm is kind of good for spreading out over little units, but 100%, no doubt, Storm is the ultimate counter for Void Rays. We've seen it right here, and it is brilliant. So, there we go. Now, my favourite, Paddy, is got taken out there, but I guess there's a reason why Wingmen won the tournament, and one of their reasons is Mr. B. He's none other than Bughy, and he knows how to storm the place up. So, congratulations to him, and man, thank you very much, everybody, for watching this tournament. It's the end right now. We got 8 teams, so that's 7 weeks. Everybody fights against each other once, and it has been an absolutely epic ride, and I'm glad you were all there to enjoy it with me. And thank you very much for the Art of Warfare clan for actually providing me with these replays. Had a bit of a dodginess in that I didn't get all the replays, yeah, but we got enough of them to cast some awesome replays, to cast some awesome games, and yeah, it's going to be finished. As I said, next week it's going to be 3 more replays. I don't know if I'm going to cast them at the same schedule. I've been casting these ones so far, but they'll come up at some point. They'll come out at some point. And speaking of tournaments, man, we've got a couple of really good options. We've got the Red Bull, which I'm thinking about casting, and then we've also got DreamHack Winter, which is epic, but it's actually given me a migraine because it's a winners bracket, losers bracket, and I'm like, how the hell do I cast that? Because there's a winners bracket and then there's a losers bracket, and it's going to drive me mental trying to cast that. So I probably won't end up casting all of it. Probably just end up casting. My plan is to cast the winners bracket and then select series from the losers bracket and try and get that out. But definitely, I feel like the Red Bull. I feel like the Red Bull is a good way to cast it. It's a fairly small one. Well, maybe it's not fairly small, but I feel like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do that. But anyway, we're going to get back into it. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned for tournaments coming out and for the other 3 games of this tournament. So yeah. It's a nice way to finish off week 7 anyway. This is a really epic game. So thank you very much for watching. Congratulations to Mr. Bughy, and I'll catch you guys with some more tournament action very, very soon. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this game.